Make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We come at you live here tonight from Bristol for the USA Trucks East Division. And rolling in tonight, the thunder will be roaring around the short track here in Tennessee. You've got the Trevor Ventures teammates starting front row here of Alan Malcolm and Alex Sanvital. Next row, you've got Tim Cording and Skylar Taylor, Chaz Chadwick alongside Ryan White, Borat Sagdiev and David Bird, Jeffrey Gerald and Brandon Butler II, James Gunner and Snake Pliskin, followed by Paul Venezuela and Jack Ross, Gannon Bird and Chelsea Carter, Cannon Gage and Jakov Rosevich, Al Bunch and Andre Stefan, Sebastian Galloway Jr. and Ace Vaden, Gabe McDuffie and Chase Kovacic, Bradley Ream, Chris Jeremio, Tim Morse, Andrew Moger, Shy Turtle, Wyatt Wilkinson, Ralph Oberstadt, Kyle Ottawa, Eli the Wolf, Craig Bush, Mitchell Carter, Drew Clue, Craig Popchris, Chris Hergeson, Nate Newman, John Brinker, Jamie Horseman, and Ryan Little round out the full field of trucks here tonight. 200 laps around Bristol. After tonight, only 3 more races left in the regular season for the USA Trucks East Division. It's been a season mostly dominated by this guy at the front here, the 9 of Alan Malcolm. 4 wins on the season. His teammate, Alex Sanvital, 1 win on the season, 81 points back. And we're getting ready to roll here at Bristol tonight, folks. It's going to be a quick one. Bristol tends to be very, very fast-paced for a short track of this size. Off to the early lead, it is the 9, Alan Malcolm. Skylar Taylor up into second, and we've got Tim Cording on the charge too, on the low side. Oh, they're trying to go 3 wide in the middle of the turn. That's never going to work at Bristol. They keep things clean right now as they complete a lap around Bristol here tonight. Cruising away at the lead, though, it is Alan Malcolm. There was some smoke there in the camera. Looks like the 92 of Kyle Ottawa goes for a ride here. Gets clipped by Drew Clue, and bam! Both of them go into that inside wall. Drew Clue continues on, but the 92, a little bit worse for the wear. Takes the damage on the inside wall. But everything still going green right now as we keep rolling here at Bristol. Alrighty, so fastest lap so far in the race belongs to Snake Plissken. Got another problem on the low side here. It looks like it's the 28, I want to say. So quite a few isolated incidents here today. Whoa, he clipped the wall hard on the exit of turn 2 there. And so after that, looks like he got some substantial damage that forced him down pit road. All in the meanwhile, you've got Borat Sagdiev now up into third, using some of the lap traffic to move up a few spots here. Skylar Taylor in second, and it's Alan Malcolm all out front right now. But some definite movers early on in this one here. Trying to make up some gains. The 54 lap down truck gets hit into the wall there. Looks like they're starting to break in a Darlington line here at Bristol as the drivers continue to clip the wall. Just pushing the envelope a little too much. I'm impressed here with Borat Sagdiev up into third. Knocking on the door of second place from Skylar Taylor here. Borat has been able to climb up into 12th in the points. He could still point his way in to the championship, which would be a stellar performance, you know, with the fact that he missed 4 races on the season. He started late on race number 5, joining in late, and just been on a rampant tear, knocking off top 5s, top 10s. He's had 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s. That almost puts him in equal air with your top 5 in points for the most part. So going to be interesting to see what he's capable of doing here on the home stretch of the season. Lap traffic's definitely making it a little difficult here for some folks. And for those of you that are tuned in right now, we will have a doubleheader here tonight with our Bridge to Cup Series August Agro Championship push going down. And we're under caution for the first time here tonight at Bristol. Took a while for the first caution to drop here. Looks like the 9 of Malcolm got some damage, so maybe maybe he got into it here. Ooh, there we go. So that's the 0-2. Drew Clue again. This time he collects the 13 of Chris Jeremio, spinning both of them out, bringing out this first caution of the night. Well, it looks like Skylar Taylor is going to gain the lead here after Alan Malcolm had to pit from the lead. Alrighty, back and rolling here after the first caution of the night. Skylar Taylor, your leader, and Borat Sagdiev running in second. Lap traffic is mixing it up here with your leaders. As the 96 of David Bird using them to his advantage here. He's going to go for the lead. Oh, and we're under caution yet again here tonight, folks. Cautions breed cautions. There's no doubt about it. New leader. Oh, and the 96 hit the wall hard there, coming back to the yellow. Your leader is James Gunner. So let us see what brought out the caution here. Ooh, there we go. A little bit of friendly fire maybe. No, not quite. The 16... Yeah, there's still a little bit of friendly fire there. The 16 and the 18 do connect. But it wasn't exactly anyone's fault there. Just one of those racing incidents where the 16 ends up getting loose there into the 46. Collecting the boss man in the 18 just with a minor contact. Al Bunch gets a hard hit there. And Shy Turtle as well, making a pretty hard hit. So that's going to shake things up even more, as you got a bunch of your leaders pitting now on lap 36. And that'll leave Alan Malcolm out to get back on the lead, it looks like. Stays out while everyone else pits. Alrighty, back in racing here tonight. And back to the lead, none other than Alan Malcolm after that rotation. Here comes James Gunner from second. He sits second in the points, trying to hunt down the 9 of Malcolm for that points lead. And there is one of our veterans joining the front of the field here, the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. Even though the last caution was partly involving him, he's moving his way up through the field. 3 wide with lap traffic in the middle. Lap traffic sandwich as the 28 of Jammy Horseman is getting swallowed whole by the 32 and the 9. They bump, they bang, they come down the backstretch heading into turn 3. The 9's going to lose the lead here. James Gunner's going to steal it. Oh, and the 9 hits the wall hard. He's going to pull it down pit road after that. A bit too much damage on the 9 from the lead there as we're pacing our 50th revolution around the track here tonight, about a quarter of the way through the race. James Gunner, your leader. Chaz Chadwick in a moderately distant second at the moment. Well, we're back under caution again here already. Bristol's starting to turn into a bit of a wreck fest here. Ooh, and that is the 29 of Eli the Wolf. Wow! Some save there from a few of the other drivers trying to avoid making contact with him. John Brinker turns the 29 of Eli, and man, close save by the 92 of Kyle Ottawa not to make contact with the 29 there. we just cannot seem to get going here, folks, as the chaos keeps striking here tonight. That time including the 74 of Andrew Moger. Gets into the 8 there, off the corner, and bam, collects the 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr., the 77 of Chase Kovacic, 29, 84, the 02. Our truck drivers, they need to clean it up here tonight so we can get some green flag laps in. Holy cow. Whole fleet of takers down pit road yet again. And so for that Bridge to Cup race later on tonight, the August Agro push for the championship. We can already confirm at least a couple entries locked into our championship finale. The first 3 drivers guaranteed to be fighting for a championship this year in Bridge to Cup include Alan Malcolm, Alex Crowther, and Jimmy Logano. They have all won their head-to-head matchups to get to a 3-0 record starting here. They can lose the last 3 in the head-to-head bracket and still have enough to qualify for the championship finale. So Alan Malcolm is 3-0 right now. So is Alex Crowther and Jimmy Logano. So start remembering those names, folks. They are going to be fighting for a championship here at the end of the month, in the first of September, to get themselves a chartered ride in the Cup Series. There might be some more entries joining them. There's a few drivers that are at risk here tonight. Jonah Burge is 0-2 right now. Andrew Moger 0-2. Alex Sanvital 0-2. Trevor Vaden 0-2. Also, Krista Cower 0-2. So if they lose their head-to-head matchups tonight, they will be eliminated from championship contention. While on the flip side, you've got the likes of Rich Roy, Luis Rodriguez, Cooper Dwight, and even Carson Bowers that have 2 head-to-head wins. All they got to do is win 1 more, and they'll be locked in for a championship battle here at the end of the season. Back to the race on hand here, the USA Trucks East Bristol. Man, we haven't been able to get going since that first caution, as it seems to be cautions breed cautions here tonight. These truck drivers driving a little bit out of control. Inside line, those are your lap down trucks. They're fighting to get back on the lead lap. 32 of James Gunner is your leader. Chaz Chadwick was just briefly fighting for the lead not too long ago, and now he's 30th, getting his lap back. Bradley Ream up in second. He's charging around for the lead. Paul Venezuela up in the top 5, fighting for a finish here today. And there we have our next caution. Man, that's just terrible. Alrighty. Getting ready for the restart here. 32 of James Gunner is going to start on the outside, start on the front here. And we have a whole, come on, get up to the, single file. I want to get them all single file here, let them all wave around the pace truck here. And let us have a clean restart with minimal wrecking. Get those lap cars waved around and we'll be off and rolling here. James Gunner, Gannon Bird, and Ryan White lead them to the restart. Jack Ross and the 84 of Craig Bush, top 5. Snake Plissken trying to make some moves. We've seen strength out of him in the ARCA series, but not quite yet here in the trucks. Up into the top 5, fastest lap here in the race tonight around Bristol. He's making some moves and trying to establish himself on the short tracks. If only we can get sorted out here and run some nice lengthy green flag runs, we can get back into this race instead of it being a wreck every turn you take. Losing some ground. Borat Sagdiev on pit strategy has knocked him back to 18th here at the moment. They're wrecking in front of these guys. They're going to come back into the racetrack and collect a whole bunch of them. So now the new Sigma rule, if you cause a wreck after this one, it is going to be a black flag. We're not messing around here. It's getting ugly. So that is a warning for the 96 of David Bird. He doesn't have to be penalized this time, but we need to get this race rolling. It's taking way too long. So you heard that right, folks. If any more drivers cause a caution, they will be disqualified here tonight. We're not messing around. We want to get this race going, and there's been so many people taking each other out that it makes no sense. So heading on into the restart here, it looks like Gannon Bird's going to be your new leader, followed by Snake Plissken and Ryan White. James Gunner decides to pit here, and he's going to lose track position. Wyatt Wilkinson up into the top 10, running in 6th at the moment. Al Bunch also with the top 10 run. Here we go. Back and rolling here from Bristol on lap 81. Snake Plissken in a close second there to Gannon Bird. Ryan White giving it all he's got in 3rd. A couple of these drivers maybe hoping to get a win and lock themselves in. Ryan White sits 20th in the points right now. Definitely a must-win scenario. To point his way in would be impossible. So that 70 looking stout. Has a good shot here tonight, running the top 3 at the moment. And here we've got our next caution. So who is getting the black flag here tonight? No way. That's rough. Your points leader is going to get disqualified tonight for causing a wreck that he could have avoided. So Alan Malcolm running at the back end of the field causes a 3-wide scenario that ends in a caution here. And some more takers down pit road as that's going to shake Wyatt Wilkinson to the lead now. We need to get back green racing, folks. It has been ugly here. Non-stop caution after caution after caution. This is not standard short track racing. This is a nightmare for the most part. So your new leader is going to be Wyatt Wilkinson here once everyone comes off pit road, gets back with the runners. Looks like we're going to have about 33 cars, 33 trucks on the lead lap here. These speedy cautions are the officials' way of trying to get people to run clean here. Just doesn't seem like anyone wants to play along. These truck drivers not really firing on all cylinders here tonight, driving out of control, causing pointless wrecks here. Let's get some green flag laps rolling here. Caution yet again. And that included the 70 of Ryan White. And the 81 of Snake Plissken just dumps him. I'm sorry, folks. I am not playing favoritism here. Everyone that is at fault is getting penalized consistently. And unfortunately for the 81 of Snake Plissken, that means he is disqualified here tonight for a wreck that was not necessary. You know, I'd love to have a race just go without having to improvise. And tonight, again, of all things, we're just having to improvise our life away until we get a race rolling. Don't know why it's so hard at these short tracks. NR2003 is never played well at short tracks. It's just a headache. Someone's going to win the race, though. Doesn't matter how they get there. Every race will have a winner. And tonight's maybe going to be a little different. You know, coming out on top of this one is going to be no small feat. Alrighty, we're back and rolling. Wyatt Wilkinson the leader, Skylar Taylor in second. Up to third it is Gabe McDuffie, fourth Al Bunch, and then fifth place Mitchell Carter. We stay green for a lap. What a wild concept. As everyone's racing now instead of wrecking. This might be problematic. 84 rejoins the racetrack. 3 wide behind him. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and... hairy moment there for Sebastian Galloway Jr., but he picks it up and comes out with minimal damage, it looks like. Right now, it's Wyatt Wilkinson holding the steady wheel at the front of the field, defending against Skylar Taylor as she's trying to get around for the lead here. She sticks her nose on the inside of the 39. Is she going to try to make a charge to the lead, or will Wyatt Wilkinson hold her off? Hoping we fix that problem. We had everyone going in and out of the pits. Fortunately for David Bird, the damage on that car has forced us to disqualify him as well. But in the meanwhile, got about a 4-dog fight at the front of the field. Wyatt Wilkinson, Skylar Taylor, Gabe McDuffie, Al Bunch, and don't forget about the 14 of Borat Sagdiev. Al Bunch settles into third here. Lap traffic. I'm amazed that 70 of Ryan White, after hitting that inside wall square, still running a little bit slower, but trying to stay here on what would be the lead lap at the moment. Lap traffic's going to be a factor here for Wyatt Wilkinson, as he's going to go below the 70 and get by him, put him a lap down here tonight. Skylar Taylor follows suit and then gets the door closed in front of her on the 45. She makes the move though, regardless, and here comes Al Bunch and Borat Sagdiev. Tim Cording, a little bit damage on the side of his truck, but he's also moving through the field. And Borat now up into third here, right behind Skylar Taylor. Wyatt Wilkinson doing a stellar job holding the lead still. As the laps are really starting to clip away now that we can get back to green flag racing. That was the toughest 39 laps here in USA Trucks that we've had in a long time. 8 cautions, 39 laps run under caution. But we're back to green flag racing and things looking good here. Just had to disqualify some of the bad cookies that were causing the wrecks, causing those cautions. Wyatt Wilkinson doing one a hell of a job here. Getting through lap traffic, holding off our lead group here. Oh, whoa, 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 that's okay, so who are we throwing the black flag out at this time? Woofty. Man, this one's going to be hard to place blame. I'm feeling like it might be on Kovacic here, not letting off the throttle there, getting into it a little too hard with the 10. 10 gets loose. Yep, I'm sorry for Kovacic, but you're end up getting the DQ on that one here. Avoidable contact, taking the 10 out in the mix. That's a points contender nonetheless. Alrighty, 84 laps left to go in this one. Wyatt Wilkinson still your leader. We're definitely on pace for record-setting caution flags here tonight at Bristol, but hopefully we can keep some clear air here for a little while. Going 3 wide with the 5, that could be trouble. Wow, I can't believe they closed that up without making a wreck from 3 wide. Chaos. About to be 80 laps to go now, this time by 3 wide again. Man, they are testing the limits here at Bristol. Oh no, Gabe McDuffie got up into the wall here. Falls from 5th. No, our leaders involved in a wreck. That is the 49 of Paul Valenzuela. The 3 comes out, collects the 49 of Valenzuela. All in the meanwhile, the chaos is happening all around Wyatt Wilkinson, and it's not phasing him one bit as he's continuing to hold this lead for a very lengthy margin. Skylar Taylor ain't going anywhere. She's holding in pretty solidly in 2nd. Borat Sagdiev top 3. Chaz Chadwick has fought back from a little bit of trouble here today. Chris Jaramillo as well. Bradley Ream, Chelsea Carter, James Gunner, Gabe McDuffie, Ace Vaden. That's your top 10. Followed by Jack Ross, Alex Sanvital, Al Bunch, Mitchell Carter, Chris Hergeson, Andrew Moger, Sebastian Galloway Jr., Tim Morse, and Jakov Rosovich. All right, let's try it again, folks. 10 cautions in the books. Hopefully no more to come. Race should have been done by now, but it is stretching on and on and on. Wyatt Wilkinson seems slow on the jump here. 45 pushing him up in a groove. That 45 takes the lead from him here on the restart. Wyatt Wilkinson falls back to second. Skylar Taylor, she takes the lead away, and she's starting to drive away with it. Chaz Chadwick moves up into second. Borat Sagdiev falls back to his sixth. Oh, and there we have another wreck, including the 14 of Borat Sagdiev. Man, that was a gnarly wreck, too. The 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson just got stuck up high. And, man, we almost had a flip over there as Borat gained some air. Holy cow. That right there, Sigma officials deemed to be a racing incident. No disqualifications necessary on the 14 nor the 39. It's crazy as how they come charging through and didn't make contact there. So your new leader, Skylar Taylor, as she leads over Chaz Chadwick, Chris Jeremio, Bradley Ream, Gabe McDuffie, Ace Vaden, Jack Ross, Chelsea Carter, Al Bunch, and Mitchell Carter. Even with all the drivers getting struck with wrecks and chaos here today, there's a lot of drivers that have been moving back through the field even after getting into wrecks. So a lot of ebb and flow with these truck drivers tonight. Got our wave arounds here. What should be 70 laps to go now. We've got a grand total of 29 trucks left running. Very high chance that we have a new winner here tonight, as Skylar Taylor is not yet won. She's deep in the points. A Skylar Taylor win would lock her in as long as she is able to climb up into the top 25 in the points. She's 33rd right now. With a win, that could put her really close into the top 25, but it'll take a little bit of work to climb out of the gutter. Chaz Chadwick on the flip side, he's not having a very stellar year, and that's a guy that we expect to see stellar performances out of. Still winless, sits 6th in the points, but if enough drivers outside the top 10 in points win, it could lock him out of the chase. I'm sorry, it's Tim Cording's day to sit out as he's making the repetitive trips down pit road, which is a glitch in the game. Short track glitches that I have not figured out. Wow, that's a friendly fire if I've ever seen one. Borat takes out Shy Turtle. Those two are best buddies outside of the racetrack. I don't know what else you can say about that one. Borat simply takes out his Canadian comrade there. And Sigma officials will deem that one a disqualification on the 14 of Borat Sagdiev. Not good for the points. Those points that he needs to try and climb into the chase, that's going to hurt. And we're going to have 28 trucks left running after that disqualification. I don't think there's much of any clean trucks left running out there. Chaz Chadwick's been in some drama. The 13 of Jeremio has. Gabe McDuffie has kissed the wall. You can see the damage on the 8 there of Mitchell Carter. The 04 of Chris Hergeson. Tim Morse a little lighter on the wear there, but still some wear and tear. Sebastian Galloway Jr. just kind of picking them off one by one here. Wyatt Wilkinson was leading at one point. He's back to 15th. Ryan White, a leader at one point, now in 20th. Paul Venezuela was up into the top 5, then got spun out, fighting for 5th. They've done some extensive repairs on the 80 of Shy Turtle to try and keep him running here tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on him, make sure that he's actually racing rather than making repetitive trips down pit road. Green, 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 here we go. Seems like Shy's going to stay out there, run some laps, try to keep his position. Staying on the lead lap's going to be hard for him with all that damage. He's down to a 16.5. That's going to be nearly the tune of about a 1 second loss each lap. Chaz Chadwick has run down the 45 of Skylar Taylor. "12 cautions tonight has definitely taken the cake. Not many races do we see that many cautions, and tonight is just a weird one for this USA Trucks East Division. Chaz trying to diamond the line here, diamond the turns, and make up as much ground on the 45. The 45 doing a stellar job holding that lead, but the 18 has got the speed. 13 of Jeremio losing some ground. That may give Gabe McDuffie a 4th place. Just like that, Gabe McDuffie up into 4th. Jack Ross fighting for a top 5. That's not very common as of late. Jack Ross trying to turn it around with that team as they've been struggling all year in all legs of Sigma racing. Chaz Chadwick mixing it up now, trying to go on the high line. And here we have Bradley Ream getting in the mix as well. They're going to work their way around the 80 of Shy Turtle. Well, Gabe got clipped there, but keeps on rolling. He's fallen to a distant 4th at the moment. He's going to have to try and close this gap, but your top 3 starting to establish some ground here. Here we go. Chaz Chadwick to the lead now on Skylar Taylor. Lap traffic helping him a little bit on the move there. Skylar Taylor not able to keep the position. You know, she's losing a little bit more ground, but that also brings Bradley Ream up to second and Gabe McDuffie up to third. Well, things are getting closer to the finish here. Sitting in third right now is Gabe McDuffie, and I think his advantage would be if they catch lap traffic and slow up. That could put him in a position to fight for the win here. The 10 of San Vital looking to maybe secure a top 10 finish, but he too is going to have to hold off the likes of Wyatt Wilkinson and a couple other big names that are behind him trying to get up to the front. And lap traffic working its way into the mix here with 36 laps left to go. It's been a while since we've seen Chaz Chadwick to victory lane. Winless so far this season. And maybe it's something in the air because veterans are starting to come around. After that summer break, they already had the 64 of Jacob Shangle win in the Cup Series. First race back. Could we be seeing the veterans heating up here on the second half of the season? Definitely can't count those chickens before the eggs have hatched. Chaz Chadwick's got a lot of racing left to do here to secure the win. And man, what a storyline that would be if he could do it. But looking back a couple spots, you got Bradley Ream, who is the Rookie of the Year candidate in Cup right now. Having a stellar season, fighting for that overall points championship against Al Bunch for the Cup Series. We haven't really seen much strength out of him here in the trucks. He does sit 13th in the points. Not bad, but also not great. When you've got drivers outside the top 10 in points with a win, that would pretty much knock you out of contention for the chase. So, very similar scenario that the 40 team finds themselves in this year. You kind of have to win to get in. But at the same time, you can still point your way in. It'll just be a lot harder. Mitchell Carter and Andrew Moger both with a win outside the top 10 in the points. That means your top 8 in the points would be eligible to move on. And as that looks right now, would be Chaz Chadwick and Gannon Bird. Those are your only two drivers in the top 8 without a win. So for Borat, even when we're talking about Borat earlier, he needs to get up into the top 8 to really be comfortably in. Chaz Chadwick here tonight, a win from him really wouldn't change much since he is 6th in the points. he would just become one of the drivers with a win locked in, but also meaning that only 8th place would be eligible as pointing their way in. And with 3 races left on the season, I wouldn't be comfortable trying to point your way in, because we still have the likes of Al Bunch, Chase Kovacic, heck, Bradley Ream could go out there and win. We could be looking at more than 11 different winners with 3 races left to go. And that could even bump out the likes of Andrew Moger, who's 18th in the points with a win. So these last 3 races in the regular season really going to get interesting, as a lot of do-or-die tactics are going to be unfolding. 24 laps to go. Bradley Ream in second. Chaz Chadwick your leader. Of course, not a must-win scenario, but it would definitely feel a little bit nicer knowing that you won the race to lock your way in to the chase. 12 caution laps, or 12 caution flags here tonight for a grand total of 52 laps. A quarter of this race was run under caution. But the best of the best have somehow rose to the top, fighting for the win here tonight. And all we got to do is close it out with 20 laps left to go. Chaz Chadwick's going to have a couple more lap trucks to deal with here. Sebastian Galloway Jr., 18th place right now on the lead lap, but about to go a lap down. Then you got the 46 of Craig Popgris, also on the lead lap, but at risk of falling a lap down here. Chaz might be getting held up by traffic, though. This could help second place Bradley Ream catch up. Chaz goes low, 95 stays high. And Chaz ain't going to waste any time getting around the 95. 17 trucks remain on the lead lap. 17 laps left to go. Whoa, Gabe McDuffie gets up to second, getting by Bradley Ream here. So maybe a jolt of electricity out of the 03 team, as they still have a shot to try and close the gap to Chaz Chadwick here with lap traffic holding him up. Gabe McDuffie would be a long shot win here, folks. He's 26th in the points. A win would catapult him up into the top 25, and then also bump the likes of Gannon Bird out of the chase as it sits. So Chaz Chadwick cannot breathe comfortably until these 15 laps are behind him. However, the more trucks that he passes, the bigger that gap is going to be between him and Gabe McDuffie. Now with a little bit of clear track after the 23 here, Chaz Chadwick might be able to settle in. Gabe needs to work his way through the lap traffic ASAP here. Not waste any time with these lappers. His gap is down to 1.2 seconds. Sebastian Galloway's a friend of his. I don't think he's going to put up much of a fight holding off the 03. Oh, but the double wide in front of him, that's going to spoil the party here a little bit for Gabe McDuffie. Gabe's going to maybe use the 95 kind of as a drafting partner here. Don't really see drafting come into factor at short tracks like this, but they're hooked up nose to tail. Maybe letting the 95 be a little bit of a bulldozer here to get through the traffic. And he's going to go on the attack and get around the 95. Chaz with clear track now. All he's got to do is hold the lead for 10 laps. The advantage, 1.5 seconds over Gabe McDuffie. Gabe not giving up, though. He's going to keep fighting until the very end. And here's hoping we can actually stay green for the finish here without another caution spoiling it. Gabe might just have to settle for a second here tonight, as it doesn't look like he's going to get around the lap traffic nearly quick enough. Five laps remain for Chaz Chadwick, your leader. Not any troubles with lap traffic here in the closing laps. As second place, Gabe McDuffie still dealing with lap traffic in front of him. Third place, Bradley Ream. Fourth place, Skylar Taylor. And looking like a top 5 for Jack Ross at the moment. White flag waving, one more lap to go. Chaz Chadwick has the lead. And getting his first win of the season, surviving the chaos and carnage that be. Chaz Chadwick gets his win on the night here at Bristol. Coming home second, it is Gabe McDuffie, Bradley Ream, Skylar Taylor. Oh wow, Chelsea Carter snubbed Jack Ross there, getting up into top 5. Alex Sanvital, Ross 7th, Vaden 8th, Jeremio 9th, and Wyatt Wilkinson with a top 10 finish. What a crazy wild race here for the USA Trucks. Congratulations to Chaz Chadwick on getting that first win of the season. And at a point in time in the season where it matters the most, coming down to crunch time for the championship chase. So race 13 in the books, 3 more to go. Could we potentially get more than 11 winners this season in the USA Trucks Eastern Division? The West has been pretty well kind of sorted between a couple drivers, but this one is wide open. That was an exciting race here from Bristol tonight, folks. And don't turn that dial. We will have the Bridge to Cup race to follow here shortly.
touch all your connections, Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favors, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want.
Well, just like that, we are on to the Bridge to Cup race here for part of August Agro, our head-to-head matchups. And these two drivers at the front of the field can rest easy since they're already locked in to the championship finale. They have 3-0 records in head-to-head matchups so far, so these two you will see fighting for a championship. They can just rest easy tonight racing the field, not having to earn a head-to-head win. Behind that, though, you've got Tim Cording, who currently sits at a 1-2 record. So a loss here tonight up against Andrew Moger would sink him and nullify his ability to fight for a championship. Alex Sanvital alongside of him also fighting for every scrap. 0-2. Another loss here would sink him. Alex Crowther is guaranteed to battle for a championship this year. So he's going to be playing on house money here at Charlotte alongside Carson Bowers, who needs just one more head-to-head win. He's up against Luis Rodriguez. Then you've got Rich Roy and Finley Herwig. Finley is up against Alex Crowther tonight, so we'll see how that pans out. Rich Roy is up against Alan Malcolm. So you got Luis Rodriguez, Ryan Little, Andrew Moger, Cooper Dwight, Cannon Gage, and Trevor Vaden. Most of these drivers in the championship battle. But past that, Skylar Taylor, Starr, Wilkinson, Cower. These are some of the drivers that are just looking for race wins right now. As they may not be fighting for a championship, they can still play spoiler. So 300 miles here tonight at Charlotte for the Soda Pop 300. 200 laps for these Bridge to Cup stars.
Make sure everything gets right there, Jim. Guys, gonna be coming to you here in a sec. Big day, big day. Let's make the most of it. Good luck.
So Jimmy Logano leading the race over Tim Cording, Alex Sanvital, Alex Crowther, and Alan Malcolm. Jimmy Logano not really having to race for a whole lot here tonight, being locked into the championship finale based on his 3-0 head-to-head matchup for the last 3 races. With just 3 races left in the head-to-head matchups here, championship finale will be first week in September. We know 3 drivers. Who else is going to join those 3? We might find out a couple more of those tonight. those of you that might not understand the head-to-head matchups, it's pretty simple. We had the 16 best drivers from the regular season, kind of like what they do with NASCAR, taking 16 drivers based on wins and points. And those drivers, instead of going to a elimination-style race calendar, we do 5 head-to-head races. Those 16 drivers have a head-to-head matchup each week here. For those 5 races, they have to have a win in their head-to-head, and that will secure them basically a stat like baseball, where you're getting a 1-0 record. You're playing 100 foot baseball at that point. But if you lose a head-to-head matchup, you go 1-1. You still have a winning record, but you're not perfect either. So with being 5 races in total, that means those drivers that hit the field here, the only way they can do it is having a 3-2 record, a winning record. However, the top 5 in points were given a mulligan, so a +1 to their head-to-head score, which helped the likes of Jimmy Logano, Alex Crowther, and Alan Malcolm all get that 3rd head-to-head matchup win. So as it sits right now, Alex Sanvital doing what he must, but not enough, because Jimmy Logano's the head-to-head matchup that he's got to beat. So Alex Sanvital has an 0-2 record. If Jimmy Logano finishes in front of this 40, he will sink the 40 from championship contention. So there's kind of 2 games at stake here. Jimmy Logano doesn't need to win, but he's got control in his hands here to try and eliminate some of his competition from the championship race next month. Sanvital doing very well, though, holding on to 2nd. And, man, would that be crazy if you had a 2nd-place run eliminated from the championship just because the guy in front of you was your head-to-head matchup that beat you. And then you've got the likes of Carson Bowers, who needs to beat the 48 of Luis Rodriguez. And just like that, they're nose to tail. Luis Rodriguez in the 48, those 2 are part of their head-to-head matchup. Carson Bowers, the winningest driver this season at 7 wins. It would be a shame to see him get knocked out. His last race, he ended up getting in a wreck. That's the only reason he has 1 loss in the head-to-head category. Crowther simply playing spoiler here tonight as well. He's got to beat Finley Herwig. And Herwig is about 10th there, while Crowther running 5th. Finley's got a little bit of work to do, but very much within range as he sits 10th there in front of Rich Roy. Rich Roy's going to have to find his way up past Alan Malcolm in the 19. Ooh, and we got to move a pass materializing for 2nd place possibly as Carson Bowers trying to get around Alex Sanvital here. Everyone's kind of settled out single file. We've had 14 laps straight here of green flag racing. Got some more movement here amongst the top 10, top 5. Carson Bowers still hasn't been able to get around the 40, but Alex Crowther closing the gap up. Cooper Dwight in the mix now, up to 5th. Cooper Dwight needs to beat the 98 of Krista Cower tonight. With a win from Cooper Dwight, that would lock him into the finale, and a loss for Krista would knock her out of contention. Wow, Andrew Moger is doing what he must. If Moger wins the race, he would have a 1-2 record and be hanging on by the skin of his teeth. And Tim Cording's the guy he's up against. Tim, one of the drivers with a top 5, has a mulligan, so he wouldn't be eliminated with his 3rd head-to-head loss, as he could still win the next 2 and break even with a 3-3 record. No, please don't crash on me. Every time we have a good race going. Seriously? Oh boy, oh boy. Folks, it's been almost impossible to keep up with this game anymore because NR2003 and Windows 11 just do not want to cooperate with each other. I'm thinking the only problem here tonight was that we're trying to do a double header. This race deserves to have no crashes. It's just not fair. So stay tuned, folks. We'll figure out I might try to run it tomorrow night, because I cannot finish it up here tonight. In the meantime, yeah, I wish we could call the race. There was only 22 laps is the problem. I guess what we can do here is show the side-by-side screen. Here is the results as of lap 22. And yeah, we'll do some figuring out here. That's not how this race is going to end. It's very, very important that this race plays out without a crash. So thanks, folks, for tuning in tonight. Glad we got one race in without trouble. We're going to get this next one just right, hopefully. So in the meanwhile, I am going to try to run the ARCA race so I can premiere it on another date. The Bridge Cup race we need to get rescheduled for tomorrow. So have a good night, folks. Stay safe out there. Until next time.